So, Borussia Dortmund, what next season for the club? And with that, like with that, like three managers in 2 seasons, Edin Terzic to Nuri Sahin to Niko Kovac. So, so it's the World Cup, the Club World Cup to play for the last competition of this season for Borussia Dortmund. But yes, but with this amount of 2 seasons with the Club World Cup to play this season, so Edin Terzic, tactical type manager or coach, to a potential to a level, but still a level, and Bundesliga and DFB Pokal, so and so in those competitions, but in the Champions League, predicted or further than predicted in last season, 2 rounds further than predicted to a final, and started with like at the start of that season, like Edin Terzic had to wait for the club to sell Jude Bellingham pre having any signings, and then after Jude Bellingham sold, Remy Bespaini, Felix Nemecha signed, and then Niklas Füllkrug, and then the 2 loan signings for the second half of that season with Ian Matson and, top 2 favourite player to have played for Borussia Dortmund, Jadon Sancho, on loan for the second half of the season. But but Borussia Dortmund had the most competitive Champions League group as well, like with PSG, AC Milan, and Newcastle. And the first 2 matches of that lost 2-0 away to PSG and drew 0-0 at home to AC Milan. So Borussia Dortmund had a potentially competitive match away to Newcastle that had 1-4 at home to PSG, and Borussia Dortmund had a good away match, a good European away match, and won 1-0 there, utilising then game managed for a 1-0 away win, and then won the home match 2-0 a bit like that as well. And then, won 3-1 away to AC Milan, utilised enough over the match to win that 1-3 away. And Borussia Dortmund in the round of 16 from that group after that, maybe, drew 1-0 at home to PSG to top that group. So Edin Terzic had that group and topped it. And then, in the round of 16, won a competitive 1-2 matches v PSV 3-1. Quite the quarter-final v Atletico Madrid 5-4 over 2 matches. And then won 1-0 home away v PSG for 2-0 win over 2 matches. And then lost 2-0 to Real Madrid in a competitive final. Real Madrid won a competitive final over the match. But then Borussia Dortmund, Edin Terzic out, and then replaced with Nuri Sahin. And it is like this is the thing. Like, change the manager from Edin Terzic to a manager that has Borussia Dortmund competing for a German trophy with Bayern Munich. Then all right. But the thing is there are ones on the board that love the club, but with this change, like, it's too quick. Like, Nuri Sahin attacking style of play. Yeah, it's attacking style of play. Like, you had a style of play, Nuri Sahin. I'll say that, but it's too quick for the start of this season and not the level for this season. And Borussia Dortmund 11th after an amount of the season, not utilising enough in enough matches for enough results, and Borussia Dortmund 11th in the Bundesliga just after the start of the second half of the season, changed the manager to Niko Kovac. Und natürlich, oder of course, Niko Kovac. Like, tactical type of manager, coach, maybe to a point, maybe to a level, but for what he picked up from an amount of the rest of Bundesliga just played, credit for that. And yeah, like, picking up from what Niko Kovac picked up from Terzic-Sahin with the club in the length and like points off a European spot, like Champions League points off a Champions League spot, points off a European spot, like points off a Conference League spot, like, and yeah, and Borussia Dortmund lost 2-0 away to RB Leipzig. This is the last league match in the season that Borussia Dortmund started with a 4-2-3-1 formation. Then there's an international break after that, maybe, and then Borussia Dortmund's last 9 league matches after that international break, and Borussia Dortmund had amounts of 6 pointers with European spots in the top 2 to play away. But with the first of these Mainz at home, and Niko Kovac started to play with back 3 formations, and it changed the season. To his credit with this, it changed the season. Like, he utilised types and options of players, and he utilised and game managed over enough matches for enough points from it to be from 11th to 4th for a Champions League spot. And yeah, so, and this is picking up an amount for Niko Kovac from Terzic-Sahin. So credit with these 9 matches, won 3-1 home to Mainz, utilised and game managed enough, utilised enough, won 4-1 away to Freiburg, Bayern Munich away, game managed and utilised enough for a 2-2 draw away. Then won 3-2 home to Borussia Mönchengladbach, utilised and game managed enough for winning that. Utilised enough over match to win a goal scoring match 3-2 away to Hoffenheim. And then the last 3 matches, utilised enough to win 4-0 home to Wolfsburg. Game managed and utilised for a 4-2 win away to Bayer Leverkusen, 4 shots and goal, and scored all 4. And then utilised enough over match to win 3-0 home to Holstein Kiel. And yeah, the Club World Cup is starting in the next week. Borussia Dortmund have Fluminense in the group, as well as Mamelodi Sundowns and Ulsan HT, and the first full competition for Niko Kovac with Borussia Dortmund, with Niko Kovac set to be Borussia Dortmund manager at the start of next season, or coach with the board. So yeah, and yeah, so from 11th to 4th, but say like with all of the season, it's a maintenance thing. Like, Borussia Dortmund finished last season in a Champions League final, but then had Terzic-Sahin too quickly, and credit for what Niko Kovac picked up from after Terzic-Sahin, but it's maintenance. Like it's like, yeah, maintain European competition or Champions League football for the club, rather than no European competition after Niko Kovac pitched it up from Terzic-Sahin in 11th. So credit to what Niko Kovac has picked up. He's picked up and maintained the club in European competition, Champions League competition, but this is maintenance. But for the club, it is big to be competing for an amount of German trophies with Bayern Munich, I'd say Bundesliga or DFB Pokal, one or the other. Further than Bayern Munich in one of them, like the DFB Pokal, then win it. Like, this is big for the club. Like, Borussia Dortmund v Bayern Munich. Like, it's big on the match day anyway for the club, Natürlich, of course. But the thing is, like, is Borussia Dortmund v Bayern Munich? Is it just two big match days in the season, or is it two big match days and competing with Bayern Munich for the Bundesliga or DFB Pokal? Like, that's the thing. I'd say that is big, and I'll say the next 2 seasons. The next season, as I'd say, but I'll say it may be another season or so for that. But like, for what Niko Kovac has picked up, I'll say potentially Niko Kovac maintains Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League competition and in a Champions League spot. That's the level I'd say Niko Kovac is maybe 2. But compete for a Bundesliga or DFB Pokal with Bayern Munich over the next season, then yes, the start of the season after, yeah, all right, maybe the start of the season after has competed for a trophy with Bayern Munich. But my potential prediction for next season is second, but like not competitive on points for the league with Bayern Munich, but like the next highest team. So like Bayern Munich top and then Borussia Dortmund second, but like next highest second rather than competitive on points second. And so, yeah, like that'd be my prediction potentially for next season. That maybe the season next season. I predict Borussia Dortmund to have more points in all of the season next season than the season just played. Yes, potentially, but is that for competing for a trophy with Bayern Munich rather next season? I have a think it may be another season or so for that. But I'd say maybe 11 more points or so next season in the Bundesliga to the Bundesliga just played. But yeah, it's like I would think it may be another season or so. Borussia Dortmund say like second next season, but not competed for trophy by me, but second maintain club Champions League. That I'd like. That's maybe Danker for maintaining the club in the Champions League competition. Nico, next manager, compete or coach and compete for Bundesliga or DFB Pokal with Bayern Munich. Like the thing is, like the Champions League run with Edin Terzic, like Borussia Dortmund finished 5th. It was like a so-and-so season in the Bundesliga and lost in like the 3rd round of DFB Pokal. But like the Champions League run, like there's a bit of a thing along, and it was Borussia Dortmund's best competition of the season, and yeah, and quite the run to the final, in Zurich, of course, and yeah, top competitive group for Newcastle, PSG, and AC Milan, and yeah, won quite the quarter of the Atletico Madrid, like one of those iconic cultural Champions League European quarter-final matches. Borussia Dortmund won over 2 matches and winning a home match quite something, and yeah, winning 1-0 home and away v PSG in the semi-final, utilising game managed and amount of team. Yeah, it's a matter of game management, but Champions League final in that competition last season, yeah, well, team that utilising game managers enough has the win or draw for that team in football, and Borussia Dortmund in the final from it. So yeah, but the thing is, like, then the next manager, like this is the thing, like Edin Terzic, I'll know as predicted or further than predicted in the Champions League. Like the next manager or coach after that, it's like, right, it's a high level and competes for a trophy by me, and yes, that is the change then. But they had it too quick to Terzic-Sahin. Yeah, had a style of play, but it's just too quick to have Sahin and just not the level for this season. And yeah, and then Niko Kovac, credit to what he's picked up, but he's picked up to like for like maintenance and to maintain the club in European and Champions League competition, that he has. But then the next season is then bigger as Niko Kovac has maintained Borussia Dortmund European competition, Champions League competition for next season, after having picked up from Terzic-Sahin from 11th. So yeah, so next season it's big for the board. It's big for the board. They changed the manager that had Borussia Dortmund in a Champions League final too quickly to Terzic-Sahin that had Borussia Dortmund 11th that Niko Kovac picked up from. So it's a big, next 2 seasons for the board. Niko Kovac has just maintained the club in European Champions League competition after picking up from Terzic-Sahin. And I'd say it's big in the next 2 seasons that potentially for the club to be competing for a trophy with Bayern Munich. It is big that this club competes for trophies with Bayern Munich more for that is an amount of the culture of the club, to be competing with Bayern Munich for a German trophy, and I'd say that is big for the club in the next 2 seasons. But yes, that is Terzic to Sahin to Kovac. So what next season for the club?